Greetings. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. Today's video is about the secret of immortality and everlasting life. We've been having quite a few talks about the higher self and what the ancient texts have to say about communion with the higher self, which leads us to a conversation about reincarnation and immortality, things of that nature. But to really understand these things, we have to get out of our feelings, get out of our emotions, and really think about the spiritual aspect of this. The truth is not pretty. It's unpopular because it's not appeasing to the ego. It's not appeasing to the body, right? And the more that you look into the ancient teachings, the further you go back, I'm talking to ancient Egypt and beyond, you learn that the body is more of a prison, more of an animal, more of something that's not to be desired as the best existence, nor is the mind, right? Both of these are part of the illusion. So there's something deeper than that. The unpopular truth is, you, human animal, right? Hairless monkey, your body will die. It will come to its conclusion. Your mind will dissolve. All your thoughts, all your memories, all the things that you cherish so much, all your accomplishments, it's going to dissolve just like the smoke. Now, while that's not the most pleasing thing to hear, that should be more of a joy. That should release a little bit of pressure to know that what you're doing here isn't so heavy, right? The way I like to think of humanity is like a tree with its acorns, right? When you go out into the park and you see all these trees, the ground is littered with acorns in a specific season, right? The tree continues to drop its acorns, seed after seed after seed. Even though most of those acorns, like 99% of those acorns, won't become another tree. But within each acorn is the potential for another tree. And within the potential of that tree is the potential for more trees, infinitely. But the thing is, which one of those acorns actually makes it into the ground and has the time and the support to reach its full potential? Most of the time, when these acorns hit the ground, they're snatched up by hungry squirrels who take them and eat them, right? There's squirrels who live in the tree, waiting for its acorns to fall, and it snatches them up as food every day. Now, in the off chance, when the universe is ready, one of those acorns makes its way into the ground and it begins to grow into a tree. Now again, even many of those, if not most of those, are cut down in their prime, cut down before they're able to reach maturity and to really take root into the ground and stand firm. So when we look at the lifespan of a tree and all its acorns it drops, very, 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 very small percentage of those acorns become trees and continue the cycle. This is like humanity. Most of the people walking around have not cultivated awareness of the soul. The people are just like the acorns who reach the ground and are gobbled up by the squirrels, right? Some of you are so afraid of these archons that are feeding off of you, right? And this would be the distractions of the body, the distractions of the mind, and all the other rabbit holes that don't profit us or don't serve us. The human race is a lot like these acorns that has the potential to be something like what created it. But most, if not all, don't make it there because the environment is so full of predators. I say quotations because it's not really predators, it's just how the system works. The squirrels are supposed to eat the acorns. The landscape wouldn't be able to sustain all the trees if all the acorns took root. But the person who cultivates the knowledge and awareness of the soul, the person who cultivates the strengthening and the sharpening of the mind, of focus, the person who culminates harmony of the body and harmony of the mind, is like the acorn who plants into the ground, takes root, and grows firmly and strongly, so that eventually the would-be predators that feed on it now live in it and take care and nurture and make its home within this thing. You see the dynamic? It goes from being food to becoming sustenance in a different way. But anyways, to get to the point here, this is why in the Bible you see only the 144,000 saved. This is why in a lot of occult teachings you see that number 144 pop up, right? We got the 72 goetic spirits, the 72 angels, right? Both portions of the subconscious mind. When unlocked and cultivated, these things begin to generate siddhis or powers, psychic abilities, which aren't necessarily meant to allow you to bring gifts and more pleasure to your life. It's meant to reveal that ultimately the power is within you and has always been within you. We just need things like demons and angels to unlock that power within us. They're symbols. They're symbols of what's within. They're not meant to be worshipped. They're not meant to be praised. Oh, great King Payman. Oh, great Belial and Baal. No. That's like praising the fingers on your hand. Oh, great pinky finger. How the ring fits on you beautifully. Stupid. This occult stuff isn't for everybody. I know it's popular right now, but it's not for everybody. It's not. Because you have to start letting go of things that you hold dear to self in order to really understand. The Bible says, I must decrease so that He in me can increase. What is that saying? It's talking about the relationship between the higher self and the human. Everything that makes up the human is based off of things that you are attracted to because it brings pleasure, and things that you run away from because it brings pain. This shapes your whole personality. This shapes everything about the voice of your body. When you learn to master that, you learn to recognize those patterns and master them, that allows your body to come into harmony, because you're not being pulled by the body. Now you're driving the body. Then you begin to work on the mind. You begin to understand that, okay, most of my personality is built off of my likes and my dislikes. The rest is built off of the memories that I've accumulated, the traumas that I've accumulated, the repetitious lessons that have been drilled into my head, the value judgments that I've placed on my experiences in life. All these things make up this ego, this personality, which is plastic, which is fluid, which is ever-changing, which is not stable, which is not real, which is illusion. Right? When you begin to realize that these things have their function and have their purpose, when you bring them into harmony by no longer being controlled by them, now you're able to make room for the higher self, for soul, for spirit to manifest in this material plane. The connection is always there. But the thing is, we're so clouded by the desires and the fears of the body, the desires and the fears of the mind, that when we do receive the message, we alter it to shape our need. We alter it to shape whatever viewpoint we have, right? Whatever ulterior motives we have. We twist it all up. So the little acorns of truth don't begin to take root and don't develop. So we as humans don't begin to develop into trees. We stay acorns, and we stay getting devoured by our lusts of the flesh, as the Bible puts it. It's not about what religion you follow. It's not even about which subject you study in the occult, because every subject of the occult is part of the puzzle. It's a fractal. If you dig into the tarot, You're going to see the same thing as if you dig into the Kabbalah, as if you dig into the Goetia, if you dig into the chakras, right? You're going to find the same lessons because they're all pointing at soul. Now, what does this have to do with everlasting life and immortality? All of that is to say, there's nothing in the material, physical world, or nothing in the mental world that is going to afford immortality. Now, there is temporary longevity, right? There's ways that you can prolong the life in matter, and there's ways to prolong the life in mind. But it's not immortal. It will come to an end. It will come to dissolve. Because what we learn from meditation, constant practice of meditation, is that everything has a birth, it arises, and then it falls away. It's called impermanence. Impermanence is the defining quality of this dimension. If it exists here, if it can be touched, it will dissolve eventually. So while immortality does exist and reincarnation is a thing, we know that because it's been written about in the earliest of texts. We also know that it has nothing to do with the body or the mind. And that's the point of this whole magic stuff, is to get in touch with that thing that is immortal. Magic isn't used to fill up your bank account, not to get your dick sucked, not to keep your man or punish somebody because they hurt your feelings. These things are what keep you in the illusion, because they're all based in your emotions. They're based in running towards pleasure or running away from pain. They're based on your value judgments that you gather from your memories. You got to understand, all this stuff is temporary. Anything under the category of matter or mind is part of the illusion, period. Magic is to help you find the deeper part that is beyond matter and mind. The spirit, the soul, the akasha, the higher self. Here's what everlasting life is. Here's what immortality is. That seed, that kernel, that essence of thing that exists, that influences everything, it continues to press itself into the world of matter. It presses itself so hard it develops mind. It presses itself so hard that it develops matter. And it uses this experience. It uses this experience for what? Who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. But it happens. And all of life goes in cycles. That's why we have the zodiac. That's how we have time. It's cyclical. The sun goes up and comes down. The moon goes through its 4 phases. The hours of the day, the months of the year, the seasons, it all rotates round and round and round and round and round. Likewise, the higher self presses itself into reality and takes itself out over and over and over again. So when it comes to reincarnation, it isn't about linear time. It's not that you were once somebody in the Roman Empire, then you came back in the Dark Ages, and you came back in the slavery times, and you came back now. It doesn't necessarily happen that way. It can happen in any order that it wants to. The first incarnation can be now. I mean, we've got a lot of animal-minded people. That's very likely. It could happen backwards. We don't know. That doesn't matter. What matters is, what are you doing in this life to cultivate the connection and the relationship with the higher self? That's what determines what level you're at. That's what determines how developed your connection is with higher self, right? Because look, I'm finding that I don't need to sugarcoat much anymore. I don't need to hold back much anymore, because the people, the souls who are listening to these videos and this message and who are learning from it and who are doing the work to develop their own connection and who will eventually be able to branch off and make their own discoveries without help, the message is getting to these people. That's a level. There's another level beneath that of people who are new not only to this information, but new to this experience, right? They may be a fresh acorn who just took root into the ground. They may have avoided a lot of the squirrels and they're ready to start to grow a strong foundation. And maybe these people listen and they get a certain amount of information from my videos or from other videos and other books, but they might not get a deeper understanding like some other people. This is why we can't really judge anyone else on their walk, because you don't know where they are. Some people are good at repeating stuff that they've heard. Some people aren't so good at communicating what they've learned, but they do understand deeply and they're doing the work. You can't judge from the outside. Some people can put on a great show on YouTube. Some people can put a great show on social media. Some people can go out there and put a great show in front of your face. But it doesn't matter about anyone else's walk. What matters is, how are you cultivating your walk? In your day-to-day life, are you making the decision to go with body, to go with mind, or to go with spirit, right? This is the shadow work that we talked about. When somebody offends you, do you go with body and mind and try to defend your ego, try to fight back and get revenge and lash out? Or do you go with spirit and realize that this is another experience, another opportunity to develop and cultivate higher self, to understand with compassion, right? With forgiveness, not that, oh, this person, oh, it's not their fault, they can do what they want to me. No, understanding that this person is still in their animal nature. They literally can't help it. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Seriously, they know not what they do. They're under the spell of mimetic magic, right? They're under the cycle of the news and the media and hip-hop music and skinny jeans and transgender pills. They're under the sway of this world. They don't have original thought. They don't have choices. They're just following programs. Let them be. Don't judge them. Don't get offended by them. Don't get mad at them. If and when they are going to develop a soul, they will. If and when. They will. You worry about your cultivation. That's all you can do. Because if you are stuck on them, worried about them, fighting them, me versus you, then you're in that category too. Because you're still looking at this reality as fractured versus unified, singularity, right? The oath of the abyss, connection to higher self. You'll see that all of this around you is a communication between you and the divine. It might sound bizarre, it might sound crazy. Oh, this dude lost it. When you get to this level, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And if you're actually hearing this message, you're on your way there if you're not there already. If you're not hearing this message, keep watching for entertainment, because subliminally and subconsciously, I'm still activating your spirit. So when it comes to reincarnation, everlasting life, it's not the body, it's not your thoughts, it's that little seed of spirit that seeks to know itself in whatever incarnation that it is. So in this life, I began to throw away the ego shit that I've accumulated, and I've begun to get to know what was inside of me, not from anyone else's input, right? Not from any TV show, not from any song, but from being still and listening to who I am. This is how I've gained connection, right? And as I've done this, when this body passes, when this mind passes, I've already identified with what has always been here. So what is speaking to you is not going to die ever. It cannot. I am identified with that. And after this incarnation passes, I will manifest again. And I will connect with that higher self at a much more rapid rate, until eventually I can choose to not incarnate here anymore. This is how you stop coming back, right? This is another thing people talk about. I ain't coming back to this reality. How do you even know how to start that process? Well, if you don't know, I'm telling you. Sit down, cut off your distractions and the input that the world is giving you, right? You gotta purify. You gotta harmonize the body and the mind. Purify. That means letting go of all that shit that your soul is telling you to let go of. I know you don't want to. I know it's not fun. Cigarettes, alcohol, sex, you know what I'm saying? Don't be ridiculous. You got to get off because it's your body, but still the mindset behind it. Oh, I got to be with somebody. oh, I'm keeping count of all these different females or all these different dudes. You know, all the little mindset shit that's going on. Get rid of it. Appeasing the ego. Get rid of it. Revenge. Sadness. Self-loathing. Self-hate. Get rid of it. Get rid of all this ego stuff. Don't be ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? You have to go to work still. You have to go to the grocery store still. Continue participating in this human life. But understand that this body is just a machine, that this mind is just an operating system, and that there's a player one up here somewhere, observing and experiencing through this controller. Alright, so I don't want to take up too much more time. We're going to do this all year long. This is TK Trap, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. I know you're getting it. Now put it to work. Peace.